My content may slow down soon because I have a few projects to do, and I felt it's best to update people really. I'm using this pop filter, which I don't like using. I don't think it presents well, but what I'm recognizing is I've got projects to fulfill, and it's best just to get them done really. Focus where I can. I'm open to new opportunities. I'm anticipating something exciting coming in the future. You never know when or what it is, but I think it's good to have things progressing. So I still need to do an audiobook for the second edition of A Father's Daughter. My previous audiobooks were of a lower quality. It was a really inferior microphone. I've got a more professional setup now, hence this pop filter, which I did use in the past, but the microphone's substantially better. So we've got that one. Then we've got Losing Your Mind to Find Your Soul, the second edition. So I still got to do this book yet. Then we've got Inspire Your Mind to Enlighten Your Soul, which I'm going to demonstrate in a minute. I'm going to demonstrate me reading The Cancel Culture from Inspire Your Mind to Enlighten Your Soul. It's my most recent book. It released last year. And then we've also got to record an audiobook for Heal Your Mind to Free Your Soul. So we've got it here. So I've got it all set up on my screen. I have on one side, I have the book in its raw form in PDF from when I first created the book. And then we've got Audacity, where it's a platform really just to record it, and then you can submit the files for publication. Now, when I record this myself normally, there's normally mistakes because you're reading at a tempo. It's easy to get sort of lost a little bit. Sometimes the words sort of entangle between themselves. So there's times when I'll have to stop, go back, listen, delete a section, and then redo it. It's going to be harder for me to do that in the recording because I don't have the screen to do it. It's just I've had to limit the real estate of the screen, really. I don't know how you reduce this. You know, the frames are in like seconds. So like 8 seconds, you're flying off, you know, and I think that's going to be too cumbersome. But we'll see. This is what I'm going to be doing over a period. I'll be in between doing projects. I've got my other books to write. So there's I think I've got 4 books. One is really progressing, but I've stopped for a moment. I know I need to focus to get that over the line. It makes no sense not to finish something that's so close to being finished. Then I've got obviously the audiobooks to do. So we'll do this too. So, Chapter 25, Cancel Culture. By the 2020s, a cancel culture grew to ruin the lives of those who dared to express opinions, especially against the self-selected minority who portrayed themselves as victims. It became almost impossible to have an opinion without being labelled a bigot, racist, sexist, or any other ist. Regardless of persecution or risk of being cancelled, I speak my thoughts and truths. I never cared about the consequences because I'm authentic and integrity is everything. If someone has issues with my beliefs, then that's for them to process and come to terms with rather than alter my opinion. Corruption exists in many forms, and the seeming minority portray themselves as victims of being labelled and marginalised. But I consider them bullies. Some tried to cancel J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, for expressing her opinion on a complicated issue. I'm not going to go into the specifics or her views, but I think we should all be allowed to own and perhaps even express our own opinions, even if it's not widely accepted or approved. J.K. Rowling was attacked with worldwide condemnation, with many not only boycotting her work, including the Harry Potter series, but also coercing others to follow their lead. She had brought smiles to many, especially children, through her Harry Potter books, which became a wizarding phenomenon in many homes, which was also adapted into a movie franchise. Regardless of the politics or views and opinions, she created something remarkable from nothing. And rather than be appreciated, a woke crowd formed to cancel her because they disagreed with her beliefs and opinions. I have nothing against different races, cultures, genders, sexualities, or any other comparable metric. Eventually, the hate and cancel culture goes too far, and a broader issue is the influence those ideals have on others. Children and teenagers are easily susceptible to coercion and radical thinking and could find themselves slipping into movements they don't understand or down paths with consequences they never anticipated or thought through. It's becoming trendy to call something out and become martyrs. So there's the potential to do and be something someone isn't and perhaps suffer from regrettable decisions. An inability to speak correctly is a consequence of radical rules and notions. It's not just a sexuality and gender issue. Even issues of race and colour become a minefield of chaos when detailing or referencing someone. As a white male, I now often find it difficult to describe people without offending someone. Some despise labels or the notion of being characterized. As a consequence, we lose the ability to explain and identify someone or a situation. An example is a crime involving two white males, one black male and an Asian female. As society pushes towards a non-labeling doctrine, accurately describing any of these people becomes impossible. They can't be identified as either male or female, and colour and race are also avoidable topics. In the past, it was politically correct for black people to be labelled coloured, but then that wasn't appropriate. Instead, black became the standard, but now no one knows. But Caucasians, see, that's where I'd have deleted. But Caucasians have always been considered white with no reprisals or cause to feel afflicted. Perhaps those in the majority don't care about labels, and those marginalised seek justice and respect, and so they too marginalise to suppress others, which repeats the cycle of victimisation. So now everyone is merely someone. We all become they, the same. Somewhat ironic when most pushing the cancel culture onto everyone seem to be individuals instead of being typecast. As the saying goes, be careful what you wish for. I don't pretend to fully understand the circumstances by which people feel aggrieved. However, the cancel culture in general is something I despise, as it's open to abuse and people are shamed and attacked on a whim, without consideration of the consequences or whether an attack was even justified. It all becomes rather unnecessary and unavoidable. No one can do the right thing, and the best course of action to avoid offending is to nod and say nothing. But why should we be silent when people tell us how we can talk, what we can say, and what they consider respectful? Personally, I'll decide how to communicate, think, and process change, because I also have the right to be me. We can't be forced to live with a handbook of everyone on the planet with citations next to each of their unique wishes. It just doesn't work. Just think of all the books in history that would no longer be politically correct, or because some people feel victimized by someone else's thoughts and descriptions. J.K. Rowling was cancelled, or at least attempted to be cancelled, for sharing an opinion. So for now, the cancel culture is rife with martyrs portraying themselves as victims, whereby only their opinion matter, and everyone else is out of touch and bigots. They like to hear their voices. Unless others conform to their way of life, they must be cancelled or re-educated. Like most things, eventually people will have had enough, and only a select few narcissists will continue to ride the wave of the movement. What happens when those wishing to cancel others are no longer the minority? What would they do then? It doesn't feel so special when we're not fighting against something, so they'll find or invent a new cause to chase. Is it so bad for someone to have an opinion of their own without others using it against them to ruin their life? A general view isn't a personal attack, and in there lies the difference. Some people feel persecuted without being heard, and every argument against their beliefs feels like a personal attack, but it's not. We all think and feel from experiences. So how each of us lived our life determines how we interpret things, and in some ways, our outlook. So we shouldn't be so quick to judge and marginalize others when we've lived through unique life experiences. In the end, we need to learn to accept each other and not be offended by what people say and do. And at the very least, before attacking someone, try to educate from a place of humility, peace, and understanding. When we're comfortable with ourselves, we don't need recognition or validation from others. So the arguments no longer exist because we focus on living rather than fighting to change others' opinions and beliefs. So of course, that's me just doing it on one freaking blast. I will have to listen back, listen to my tone, listen to the voice, listen to the tempo. Am I happy with it? Do I need to change it? Because you need consistency. When you do an audiobook, there has to be consistency throughout. So you have to find that common ground, really, to where you're happy with the production. Now, there were parts in there that I got tongue-tied. It happens. There's no need to go and record the whole thing again. So what I would normally do is quickly press stop. So this would stop here. It's recording me now. I'm talking. So you'd press stop, and then I would fine-tune. So if I go here, I don't know if we can better hear that. To go and record the. So you can go back and actually edit sections, and you'll be able to cut it, for instance, and re-record. So there's all sorts of things you can do. And this is what I will be doing. This plus my writing. I'm sure there'll still be videos, but I have to use the pop filter for the voice quality.